Hello, everyone. It is that time of the semester to jump into talking about our final projects. So today we'll get an introduction into what our final projects will be, and we'll talk about some important deadlines and rubrics. So what is the final project of the semester? So during the course of the semester, you will see that I provide an in-depth discussion of 4 drugs of my choice. This project is an opportunity for you to discover and learn about a drug of your choice. You can pick one specific drug or a drug class. And you'll be writing a final paper and giving a presentation that describes this drug's history, the science of how the drug works, and I want you to talk a little bit about how the drug impacts real people, right? Why is it important? Why is it interesting? Now, as you'll see, I kind of spread deadlines throughout the semester to keep us on track, to make the work more manageable. So let's talk about what the various deadlines are. So the first deadline is October 9th. For this deadline, it's just the selection of topics. You cannot choose a drug class that we learn about in this class, okay? So if I cover it, you can't pick it. Choose something else. What I want you to do is to come up with 3 ideas for drugs that you want to study. And that's really it. Write me a sentence. I would like to look into these 3 drugs. Why do I want you to potentially choose 3? Well, it's possible that everyone in class chooses the exact same thing they want to study, and I think it would be super fun if we learned about kind of a bunch of different types of drugs for final presentations. So we'll figure this out during class time. Come to class, we'll think about some various ideas together, and by the end of class, everyone will leave having submitted their final topic selection. And we'll work on that together. After the topic selection on October 23rd, you will submit your outline and references. This should be a very simplified outline, folks, okay? You'll have your final topic that we've already discussed. And so the outline should contain all of the following, and each should be described in 1 to 3 sentences or so. For all of these different assignments, folks, there are rubrics provided to you on Top Hat, so please check out the rubrics folder. In your outline, I want to see a bit of an introduction. What is the drug? Why is it interesting? Tell me, I want to know about the history from this perspective. I want to see where the drug was discovered in terms of its development. For the science, I want to see what part of the body it works on, or I want to see what protein it targets. For the societal impact, I'm curious to understand how this drug is used in hospitals, for example. And for this assignment, folks, I will need you to have found all of the 5 references you plan on using. 2 must be research articles, and we will talk more about that. Next up is, of course, draft number 1. I want to kind of make it clear to everyone, folks, the best writing comes from drafting. And let's write that out. Professional writers who publish books and make lots of money don't just write a first draft and that's that, right? They have multiple versions that they work through, and we're going to learn that process together in this class, because I don't expect the very first thing that you write to be perfect. I expect it to not be perfect, because my first drafts also aren't perfect. Your first draft will be due November 7th, and November 5th. Reading is important. This draft will be about 70% complete, so it doesn't need to be a finished product. It won't even be done in terms of how much you've written, right? I want your draft to contain a little bit in each of the sections that you wrote in your outline, but none of those sections need to be complete, or maybe the first 3 are complete and the last 2 are less complete, right? After you submit your first draft, the very next day in class, we will perform peer review of each other's work. When we discussed how preclinical research works, I discussed peer review. It's when other people review your work and tell you what they think about it. That is an important part of writing as well. So we will spend one day in class reading each other's work and giving each other some ideas of how we might improve. And all of that will be finished during class time. Of course, after draft 1 comes draft 2. So in draft 2, what you're really going to be doing is kind of completing the work you need to complete and incorporating your peers' suggestions. Following draft 2, I will provide you some thoughts and feedback before your final draft is due on December 2nd. This will be a complete draft by then, and it will incorporate the suggestions that I have given you. You will have Thanksgiving break definitely to work on this, that is for sure. Finally, last up, the last days of class will be devoted to presentations. You're going to take what you learned in your essay and kind of convert it into a shorter, easier, more manageable presentation for your classmates. I want this kind of to be fun. I want you to convince your classmates about how cool the drug you've chosen is, or how it's so important, or how our life wouldn't be the same without it, right? I want you to have a little bit of fun with this. Tell us what's so interesting about the drug you've chosen. And, before we come to class to just choose our topics, I do want to emphasize that we will have a lot of class time, particularly at the end of the semester, devoted to working on this project, okay? We will spend time in class discussing how to find references, how you're allowed to use AI, how to do writing, and how to find references and cite them. We'll have one day in class for you to develop your outline and for you to find references with me there to help. We'll have one day in class for peer review, as I mentioned. We will have 3 whole days before Thanksgiving break for you to work on the final draft of your paper or for you to work on your presentation. I want you to feel like you have enough time to devote to this in class, so you feel like it's very manageable. Of course, don't expect for all of it to be done in class. That's just not going to be possible. But I want you to feel like you have enough time in class to really polish your paper and presentation. And that's all for today, folks. I will see you in class so we can discuss our final projects. And really, I want you to have fun with this. Yes, it will be an amount of work, but it should also be interesting for you. Choose a drug that sounds fun. I'll leave you with this cat meme. See you in class.